everybody, my name's Matt Brady, and as you guys might have figured out by now, I am reviewing people's cars. It's a lot of fun, and this morning actually I've got a friend of mine, his name's actually Matt too. This is his 2010, I believe, Honda Accord V6 manual coupe. Now, this is actually one of the more, well, basically the larger of their sort of enthusiast type of cars. I don't think Honda ever necessarily marketed this car as an enthusiast car, but the thing about this this little package is that it's actually, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. The car comes with a 268 horsepower, and forgive me if I don't know the torque specs off the top of my head. I will try to put them in the screen later, but a 268 horsepower V6 engine. It revs to looks like 68 to 6900 RPMs. It has a 6-speed manual transmission with the typical Honda feeling of the shifter, which is to say it's a very good shifter. And supposedly it's supposed to be a pretty torque-rich engine, and the chassis, I don't believe, is very heavy. You know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 pounds. Hey everybody, my name is Matthew Brady, and if you can give me 20 seconds, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about these videos. I am making car review videos to showcase the people and their cars of the Midwest. I think the Midwest is a very overlooked area when it comes to the car world, so if you would like to have your car featured in one of these videos, just send me an email. I'll link it down below. Until then, I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks. So we're going to see how she does on some of these Mexican back roads here. And I'll let you guys know what I think of this thing, whether it's actually a performance car or an enthusiast car or just a family sedan, I guess. We'll give it a try. Oddly enough, I kind of have high expectations of this thing right now. We'll go windows up. I am going to turn the air on a little bit here. I don't need the... Okay. It's a little bit muggy this morning. Alright, so the first thing I'm noticing is for a 9-year-old car, the interior is pretty nice in this thing. This leather's actually, has held up very well. It's got heated seats. I mean, it's got everything you would really want in a daily driver. And the steering wheel is kind of like sporty. I mean, for basically what is essentially a sportier version of like an all-around family sedan. The gear throws are very direct. It has a really crisp shifter. I haven't driven a whole lot of Hondas, but the ones I have driven, I mean, they all seem to have this really good shift feel, and I think that's substantiated by videos and magazine reviews over the years. Let's see how she pulls a little bit here, up through third. We're at 3,000. It's not like blow your face off fast, but I noticed it's like 4,500 RPMs or so. I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna have to look into it a little more, but this thing has to have some form of VTEC. You can hear a very crisp, a different cam profile come on. I think it was about 4,500 RPMs. We'll get into that a little more here once we get onto this back road. Throttle blipping is very easy. The engine's actually really responsive for kind of a bigger 6-cylinder engine. That's second gear. Yeah. Whew. It sounds good. 5,000 RPMs. Yeah, it's 5,000. That's where whatever different cam profile comes on, or right about there. It sounds really good. Kind of like a cross between what I would think like you put an S2000 kind of cam switch with like a VQ 35 350Z engine. This is kind of how I can explain the sound there. That was like a 2,000 RPM throttle blip. We're gonna take it into some corners here. Put it in third. Woo! This is good. This car is fun. So it's not stock. I mean, you can probably tell by the way it looks. It's been kind of fiddled with a little bit. From what I know, he didn't tell me a lot about specific mods. Other than that, it's got some lowering springs, a different intake, and then a pretty mellow axle, or I think catback exhaust. Otherwise, some tinting and little things like that, but nothing super major. It's his daily driver. He's driven it through high school and college, and his dad drove it before him. Man, third gear, you can just, it's so strange for what is, it kind of feels like a I don't even know, like a family sedan, but it wants to pull like hard, and it actually seems to like higher RPMs a lot. Honda really knows how to make good cars. I can't wait. After this, I can't wait to drive some of their other stuff. Oh, we must have got into some traction control there. That was second gear, and it started kind of abruptly cutting power in mid corner. Yeah, it really likes to rev right out to 6,500, and I'm actually getting some torque steer from this too. Honestly, this car feels like it pulls as I would say nearly as hard as that EcoBoost Mustang did, which had, I don't know, that thing had like almost 400 pound-feet of torque. This car is really good actually for such an overlooked platform, I guess. And the thing that made me want to drive this car so much actually is because I've read things about it for, let's get around this bicyclist with no drama here. So I've read things about these cars being, overlooked, and that they're actually somewhat of a performance bargain. I can't remember who wrote it, but there's a guy, I think, for Road and Track that swears by these cars, and actually I'll try to link that article in the description, but he talks about his opinion that these are one of the last. Woo! That sound is addicting. It's so addicting. Yeah, man. It feels grunty and ballsy. Anyway, he talks about in that article how he says these are, technically speaking, the last real muscle cars out there. He gives some points like, muscle cars used to be like just hopped up versions of basic family sedans with just larger engines and, a coupe body style a lot of times. Blah, blah. I won't go into that too much, but I'll link the article if you guys are curious about it. It's actually a very well-written piece, and I think the guy who wrote it actually runs Time Attack in an Accord very similar to this one. Man, it's got a lot of mid-range torque this is, so 3,500 RPMs, you punch it, and it pulls like this. Oh, and then it comes on cam, and it feels good. You know what it kind of excites me about this car, or what intrigues me, is that they use, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, a version of this engine or a version of the next generation Accord V6 in the Lotus Evora 400, which they supercharge it, and the way this engine feels makes me think the Evora 400 is probably super rowdy, because this is pulling, and it's such a fun little engine. It feels kind of special it feels very special for the type of car that this was originally supposed to be. You put it with a manual, and you're getting a good shifter feel, all of the engagement of rowing it yourself, a fun power band. Oh yeah, that's 6,000 RPMs, and it's like pulling hard, guys. That's Mexican speed limit right there, I would say. We're gonna settle it down a little bit. Luckily, we're getting towards the end of this road anyway, but this is a good car. This would be a great daily driver, because you know, nobody's gonna look at you like they're not gonna think anything of this thing. And then, you know, I think this with a little bit louder exhaust even than what it has now, and you get that intake noise, you know, driving this every day, it's kind of a sleeper. I like this car, actually. I'm pretty sure you can find these kind of cheap too right now, so maybe this would be something, you know, some of you guys might be interested in. But yeah, thanks for watching. This has been a little eye-opening, actually. If you guys want to know more about the car, let me know. I'll probably link some specs in the description and specific mods if I can get them from my buddy. I hope you guys have a great day. Yeah, thanks for watching.